News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM. Dave Wolf, Bret Witkowski at Edwardsburg High School's Lee Hoffman Field. St. Joe beats Edwardsburg 36-29 to improve to 2-0 on the season right now. And last week for the Bears, it was the offensive line and the running game. This week, the offensive line and the passing game.
Well, Edwardsburg did a nice job taking away the running game for St. Joe. And if I was coming into this game, that's what I would have done, because St. Joe struggled last week with the passing game. But it wasn't that it was that far off. It was just more of a timing. And Crossman, as we had mentioned last week, his arm's a lot stronger than last year. And boy, he hit Ciccarella on two beautiful pass plays. We hit full stride, right on the dime. And the one thing Crossman can do well is St. Joe can, and you don't see this a lot in high school football because most quarterbacks don't have a strong enough arm. And coaches worry he's going to be a pick six. He's down and out patterns.
Yeah.
And they ran that once to Ciccarella, and then they ran it on the 2-point conversion to DeYoung out there too. So, those are plays that most high school quarterbacks are not able to make. But this was a classic high school football game to me. You had two great programs. Edwardsburg hits like crazy. They run that wing tee as good as you're going to get. They're going to have a really good season. I know last year they were 5-5. I'd love to see them go against Niles whenever that matchup is. But those two teams, along with Pawpaw, are going to be the premier teams in that Wolverine conference.
With St. Joe coming out of the non-conference portion of the schedule at 2-0 and wins against Niles and Edwardsburg, those are statement wins heading into the SMAC conference play next week.
Well, I think, you throw on then what Niles did tonight to Lakeshore even adds more to that. Niles beat Lakeshore 46-0, and that's, Niles lost to St. Joe 30-7. Defensively, I thought St. Joe did well. Edwardsburg's successful program with the most wins in the century in the state title for a reason.
Edwardsburg's offense, the wing tee, it's something that St. Joe rarely sees because it's when it's run well, and there's no place that really runs it well like Edwardsburg. So not every in this area. I mean, even in the SMAC, nobody runs it. No. So St. Joe coming in and really preparing for a completely new offense and doing well against it, I think that says one thing. But when you're talking about the way of the offense, I mean, they started out unlike the way they started out last week against Niles. St. Joe did play well very early, unlike last week.
Yeah, St. Joe overall played well. I think defensively they gave up a lot of yards rushing. They gave up 311 yards to Edwardsburg, which is probably their average, from that standpoint. I thought Isaac Cotty had a phenomenal game. He was all over the place. Zorante had a great game on the defensive side. Lang once again. Johnson, who's moved that linebacker. Schmidt. Dontre Miller, who didn't play last week, had a great game on that defensive line. And when you go against a team, and this is my opinion, when a team's strength is the running game or passing, but let's say in this case Edwardsburg is passing, you don't want the passing game or the running game to beat them. And that it didn't happen. St. Joe, they gave up quite a few yards, but they didn't let the running game beat them.
Yeah, they gave up a couple of big plays, but
right. They only gave up two, and that's kind of the motif of this type of offense is run here 3, 4, 5 yards. Next thing you know, 60. And that only happened once. But, I think credit to Edwardsburg, that play going into halftime was a big play where they scored with no time on the clock with a pass play down the middle. Edwardsburg is going to have a good season. St. Joe is off to a good start. I think, the last 2 years there have been times where the penalties were self-destructive.
Yeah, and they almost were in this game, in the second half. And they didn't have any penalties in the first half.
Right.
Then the penalties started happening in the second half.
But none of them were drive killers or took away a score. There was one holding and took away a first down, but probably it was a first down because of the holding.
Yeah.
And so, I think St. Joe's in a good spot. They appear to be pretty healthy. There were some players that had some illness going in tonight's game, but they played and gutted it out. And, you can take a road win 36-29. Against a premier state power team like Edwardsburg, you're in good. I think you're sitting in pretty good shape as they head next week into the game versus Lloyd Norris.
And I think the other thing that really needs to be highlighted is St. Joe has not turned the ball over this year.
Great point.
So knock on wood, but
that's a great point.
A key key point to the win last week against Niles was recovering 2 fumbles.
Correct.
A key point in tonight's game was recovering a Niles fumble.
Yeah, I
Or an
mean, that's a
Edwardsburg
great
fumble.
point. No turnovers is something definitely that I got to bring up. Remember, maybe text me that tomorrow on the coaches' shows, and you can hear Coach Pratley's not going to be there tomorrow. He's going to go watch his son his last season in college football. It's kind of a long trip, so we got Coach Graziano, and he likes to talk.
And is he bringing cookies?
No, I'll bring him.
Okay.
I got one for you.
No thanks.
No thanks, too
Nope.
big for you, huh?
I'm a good person. I'm a good diabetic. Yeah,
If
but
you
anyway,
say so.
yeah. Back to the game. It just the way that St. Joe took control in that third quarter, and every punch that Edwardsburg threw, St. Joe took and responded right back.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they went down, they scored, they moved the ball. When here's what I like from St. Joe on the offensive side. Edwardsburg took away the run. They loaded the box. Most teams do. Last year, teams didn't have success because St. Joe was challenged to throw deep in the passing game. St. Joe countered and went deep in the passing game. And to me, when a team can counter offensively what teams do defensively, especially in high school ball, you're going to do well. And the one thing on the defensive side, and you kept the stats up here. How many times have you just seen one person making a tackle?
None.
Exactly.
There's the gang. Gang tackling is really, it's been the mantra for St. Joe football even back when you played back in the advantage of the Stone Age.
Yeah, and the ball wasn't football. It was around like a basketball.
I thought it was the human head.
Oh, okay. We won game 2-0. I'd tell you that.
When you were a senior.
Yeah, but the thing St. Joe has on defense is speed.
Yeah.
And they fly to the ball and they hit. I'm watching. It was Lang or I can't remember who it was in that backfield, defensive backfield. I mean, they're hitting guys at the legs. I mean, that's how. Oh, it was Edwardsburg. Just getting low, just tackling low. I mean, when players can play low, they can win. Is Cotty a wrestler?
I have no idea.
He needs to be. I mean, that guy is. He was strong out there in that linebacker position. I mean, you saw there was a play over here about 40, 50-yard line. I mean, he took that guy, just threw him down like a WWE move.
St. Joe improves to 2-0. They head into SMAC conference play next week at Steve Upton Field at Dickinson Stadium against Kalamazoo and Norks. And last I knew, Norks was winning their game, so it could be a matchup of two 2-0 teams. And then in 2 weeks, St. Joe goes to Gull Lake, who was blown out by Vicksburg tonight, 44-0.
Well, Gull Lake is every school seems to have their sport. There's definitely soccer.
Yeah.
Which is in the same season as football. So those things don't match up well.
So St. Joe goes to 2-0. Edwardsburg falls to 1-1. Conference play begins next week for both teams. Edwardsburg will be at Plainwell. St. Joe will be home against Kalamazoo Loy-Norks. We'll be on the air at 6:35 next week from Dickinson Stadium for St. Joe and Kalamazoo Loy-Norks. For Joel Cordes, Bret Witkowski, I'm Dave Wolf. News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.